Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. It's me, DIGI. Welcome. Bit of a surprise stream as I kind of wasn't planning to do a stream today, but I have a little window for a quick flight, and we're going to go ahead and enjoy some East Coast ops in the default 737 MAX 8. Horse Soda, hello. Welcome. God bless you and your family. It hopefully will turn out to be a pretty good stream and weekend. I'm going to have some family time a little bit later, but right now we're going to go ahead and enjoy a quick flight in the sim to Jacksonville from Wilmington. And let's see, is the actual lossless scaling causing me to drop frames? I'm almost wondering if it is. If that's the case, I'm just going to leave it off. It's possible it actually is. Minimize the screen. Yeah, it just might be. All right. Let's go ahead and get set up, and hopefully the volume is not too bad. Actually, let me bring it down. That should do it. I think that should do it. Okay, like I said, quick flight over to Jacksonville. So, we're going to be using the airliners today. Going to grab the Asobo Studio 738 MAX. We're going to configure it, make sure the registration's good, and get the numbers popped in when we're on the ground at Wilmington. November 820 Romeo Bravo is my registration. Orbit is the call sign, and the flight number is 197. It's not a heavy plane. It will be heavy with passengers and cargo and fuel, but it's not a heavy designation. So, let's go find Wilmington International and start planning our flight. It's going to be a bit of a cloudy day, but hopefully not too bad. And we are going to be probably at the first gate or the second. I'll take the second gate. Set that as the departure, and we will get going. Welcome in, everybody. I was going to try to use lossless scaling today, but I don't think we need it per se. I also think we have some stormy conditions, which we will hopefully be able to overcome by flying above them shortly. It's a bit thunderstormy out here, though. So, let's go ahead and set up the plane and get going. All right. I'm in 2024, so I think GSX integration should be fine. Let's go ahead and double check sim brief. There we go. Orbit 197 to Jackson. And let's go ahead and start operating the jetway, getting ready for departure. I'm going to use my friends at American Airlines to help us get out of Wilmington, and we will start getting set up. All right, sweet. So what do I want to do? I probably want to ask GSX for a there we go, for a ground power unit. And with the ground power unit plugged in, I should be able to start doing all the other things. So, battery on, standby power on. Let's do, yeah, cabin and in-flight entertainment are on. Emergency lights are armed. And let's start doing the alignment. Ooh, pretty stormy in Wilmington. All right. Let's start the boarding while we're doing everything, shall we?
Boarding requested.
Okay. Let's get navs aligned. And we'll get the dome lights all the way up. And I'll pass that bill on to Orbit Airlines. And we'll get going. So about an hour and 35 minutes for the block time. I'm going to just take care of some basic things at the moment. We have standby power.
Do you want to board crew? Crew boarding starting.
Let's go ahead and board the crew so they can board the passengers. We are on, ground power. And let's get the panel lighting all the way up. And get the seatbelt signs to auto. I can probably turn the window heats on if I wanted to right now, I think. So window heats on, so I don't forget. And we'll get the forward and aft cabs cooling. Recirc fans are auto. We'll get the packs on for now.
Your crew has boarded.
And we do have passengers boarding. APU bleed I'll get on shortly. And we'll get the logo light turned on. And I think that's all I have to do right now. I'll fix the yaw damper and the setup a little bit later. So with the upstairs work done, let's go ahead and set up our flight. I think this aircraft has SimBrief integration. I think SimBrief dispatch. There we go. So let's import flight. Okay, flight has been imported. Let's take a look at the flight planner. We have the flight. Do I have the charts?
This way.
I do have charts. That's great.
Welcome on board.
Let me see if I actually have the OFP.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so the briefing preview is in here. Gotta zoom in a little bit more. Cost index 5. What am I looking for? I'm looking for numbers. So let's just make sure we have what we need. 175 passengers. We need 11,700 pounds of fuel. Okay, so that's interesting. When you tab into it, it takes it off the holder. So let me go back to the aircraft and make sure the plane is fueled.
Boarding pass, please.
Fuel right now is what? 3,410 gallons? How many pounds? Way more than needed. Let me take a look at the chart. Chart says 11,696 pounds. So we don't need that much.
This way.
A little bit extra is fine. And what about cargo? Cargo, we're supposed to take, let's see, 9,625 pounds of cargo. Okay,
Boarding
just
pass,
about.
please.
And 175 seats.
Hello.
So basically maxed out.
May I see your boarding pass?
Okay, so we are taking off on runway 35. Conditions are probably going to be wet. And wind magnitude right now, let me take a look at the chart. Chart says airport weather. Winds are 310 at 6, broken at 800. Okay, yeah, there we go. So that's actually configured, and we have flaps 5. So how do we actually calculate this? Hey, Nathan, what do we have here? We have a flight sim pilot who's sneaking a very quick flight into Jacksonville, and I am figuring out how to get this done. It doesn't actually let me hit a button to calculate it, though. There we go. GR, runway 35, wet, METAR is set. So where's the button that says calculate this? That's interesting. I mean, I have the data that we need. This is probably not the best place to put it, but at the same time, I'm not going to worry about it too much. All right, now we've got this set. Let's go down to the POSIT here. Let's go ahead and pick up KILM and get cracking. And we're aligned. We should be aligned. And let's go ahead and set up our flight. Perfinite flight plan request. Okay, we can import the stuff from SimBrief, which would save me a little bit of time with the flight planning and just make sure that the departures and arrivals are set. Okay, let's go ahead and load. We are leaving runway 35 from Wilmington, and we do have some weather to deal with. So while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and set my panel brightness all the way up. Give me just a little bit of flood lighting. And it looks like it did load. Let's do Perfinite and start getting going here. The zero fuel weight for today is estimated 136.8. Let's go ahead and tap that in now. Hey, Fuzzy. Welcome aboard, my friend. It's a privilege having you. Okay, reserves. If I take a look at the briefing, the planned fuel is going to give us a final res of about 2,000 pounds. Combined with alternate fuel, we have about 4,600 pounds of reserve and the contingency. So it's a little bit less than 5,000. So 4.9 is what we have for today's flight if we don't just factor in the fuel that we use for everything. And again, cost index for today's flight is going to be a 5. So I think boarding finished, and we'll just go ahead and get our numbers crunched as quickly as we can. Top of climb winds are going to be 266 at 023. Cruise winds and one limit. Let's take a look at the flight plan for the cell temp. Cell temp is 42. That means our takeoff is going to be 91.2% N1 if we use takeoff and climb, which I'm probably going to do by default because of the fact that we have inclement weather at Wilmington. So no D-rate. Takeoff flaps are going to be 5. And CG is going to be 24 with a trim of 5.5. So if I take a look real fast, I can zoom in a touch. And then, did I say 4.5 or 5.5? Let me see. Oh, 5.5. Got it. That might actually be a 6. Hold on. Alright, good enough. Kind of hard to see the elevator trim, but we'll do. Okay, so there we go. And takeoff speeds 135, 136, 148. And does that vibe? 138, 138, 146. That's fine. It's 148 is like 2 knots over the V2 speed. we're gonna get ready to rotate around that area anyway. So let's just make sure that the downstairs components are set. We have panel lighting where it needs to be. Let's get the main panel lighting up on that side as well. And is there anything else that we're missing? Let me check. Okay, close the flight deck door and panel brightness all the way up. Where is my transponder code? Transponder code is going to be there. All right. 2257. Let's go ahead and set TARA right now since we're going to be getting out of town relatively quickly. And since we are, let me make sure 148 is set for the MCP. And takeoff heading for Wilmington's 35 is going to be standby 349. 349 is the set. So 349 is what we're going to use. 349 for all of them. And before I forget, let's go ahead and make sure that our nav is set for the ILS into Jacksonville. The approach we're taking is the ILS Zulu for 26. That's 110.3 at 257. And 257, I'll go ahead and set on the FO side. Okay, kind of hard to see, but we got that done. So, auto throttle armed, flight directors on, and now should be able to hit VNAV and LNAV. And they both lit up. That's a good sign. I like that. Okay, so that should take care of us. Let's go ahead and make sure that the APU is started. But before we do that, yaw damper to on and double check your fuel numbers. We have fuel in the wings, but not in the center line. And let's go ahead and turn the APU bleeds to on, turn the packs off, and hit the APU button. Oh, before we do that, of course, anti-collision light. There we go. APU's coming on. And seatbelt sign, electronic devices. Let's go ahead and finish getting set up. A's off, B's on for startup. Recirc fans, I'm going to leave where they are. The isolation valve was set to auto after we get everything set. And we'll get the engine bleeds on as well, but we won't start them up immediately. Now I think we should be okay to push back, and we'll do a quick check outside. As you can tell, kind of stormy. So, now I think we should be okay. I don't know if they've finished pushback yet, so let's go ahead and prepare for pushback and departure. She's a little spicy out there, as you can tell. Okay, so we finished boarding, but they're taking a little bit of time with the luggage. Okay, I'm going to make a prediction that I'm going to tap into a little bit of time acceleration once we get up in the air to save a little bit of time arriving into Jacksonville. I'm not on VATSIM, I'm just taking a chill flight to hang out with you guys, so I'm not worried about that. If it does take more than the next 15 minutes, then I'm probably going to go ahead and reset and just take off. But I think that takes care of, actually, you know what? It does not take care of our flight plan because I haven't bothered verifying it yet. Let's go back to legs. We're taking off out of Wilmington, going to Charlie Romeo Echo, Charlie Hotel Sierra. Then we're going to go to ECENT, which basically means I'm not really going to worry about this discontinuity. Save the change, and then Looney, and then we take vectors. That means that our departure's been punched in, but our arrival has not. So I choose runway 26. I'm going to go for the Zulu, and we're not going to take the Biggs transition. We're just going to go straight to final, and that should get the route punched in. So, ECENT reset by discontinuity, which I've removed again. We're going to go to Looney, going to go to vectors. Look, from Looney to the ILS approach, I'm not going to worry about vectoring. Again, I'm not on VATSIM ATC. I do fly on VATSIM occasionally, as you guys know. But today, no. If we go mist, we climb to 1200, then we climb to 4000, go to hammock, and we hold. And that's our flight plan. And an init ref has been set, and that's it. Now I can just get my plan set on the right-hand side, on the FO view, and that should do it. We're running on APU, so I can go ahead and swap over. APU is set. It should be able to dismiss the GPU. And
hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
There we go. APU gen is on. Batteries on the bus. Okay, am I missing anything? Not that I can think of right now. Take your time, DIGI. Fuel pumps are running, batteries on the bus. We're doing APU gen, and I'm going to go ahead
Departure check completed.
and make sure my doors are closed. Actually, hang on. The door is open. It is ajar. Right. So, do me a favor, hop into debug and close things.
Locking gear.
Why doesn't the door close from here? Did I forget to go to a certain screen? That's the aircraft. Oh, you know what? I might have to use the, the menu. Okay, nose right, tail left.
Release parking brakes.
There we go. Well, the door's closed now, so thank you. Okay, init ref. And it looks like it does not want to let me switch back over. I wonder why.
New
Stand
Hanover
by.
Airport information Oscar 2000 Zulu. Wind tree 20 at 6. Visibility 10 in heavy rain.
Commencing push.
Sky conditions.
All
viewing
engines clear.
1900
Start at will.
Kelvin. Temperature 26.
Okay.
Dew point 24.
Okay, we're going. Ignition right, ground. Starter valve open. Let's get to about 15% and kick on the fuel. Fuel is on. Engine 2 is motoring. This is good. Yep, there we go, I hear it. So about 15% it should kick off.
Set parking brakes.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Alright, stand by. Once I hit 15, that should be good enough for me. Verify altimeters are set. Thank you, sir. Altimeters at 3000. Let's see if that corroborates with the outside. Yes, that's correct. That is weather. Thank you for the reminder. And that's 20%. Let's go ahead and kick on the fuel. Okay, so good times. We're kicking on.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Okay, yaw damper on. Fuel pumps are flowing. We'll keep the APU gen running until we have confirmed starts or finished starts on both engines. And since I have engine 2 running, I'm going to go ahead and kick on the pumps for the A side. Yes, yes. Roasts on demand and critiques are welcome.
Unlocking gear.
Yeah, we'll have some fun with this. So we'll get the probe heats on. Window heats are already on. Anti-ice, I'll wait to see if I need. And we have engines running, so packs can come on. Isolation valve to auto.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
And bleeds are on.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Wonderful. So we are stable. I'm going to go ahead and kick on the gens. Stable, APU can come off. Always roasting, never personal. All right. Taxi light on. Position light steady. Anti-collision light on. I'm probably going to get the strobe light on flashing because I'm going to be crossing a runway very shortly. Wing lights on for safety. And cruise altitude for today is going to be... what exactly? Cruise altitude will be flight level 320. 320, here we go. 320 landing altitude at Jacksonville is what? It is 30 feet. So we'll take 25 if we can, 50 if we must. 50 is what we're going to take. So that's fine. Okay, so real quick check. Fuel is flowing. Yaw dampers on. We are Gen 1, TR1. We are running on gens. And cabin util and in-flight entertainment are now on. Seatbelts are good. No smoking sign is lit. We have window heat, probe heat. We are full electric, so I can do a flight controls check shortly. Circulation fans are auto. Packs are on. Packs are auto. Isolation valve is auto. Bleeds are still on. And I think we're good to check our controls and get on out of here. So, really quick check if we can. I would say, right here's the check. So, full left, full right, full forward and full back, full left and full right rudders, and there we go. Pressures and I think brake temps are good. Oxygen quantity is good, and that's it. So, really quick check on the ground things. The taxi is going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to be going to 35 via Bravo Alpha, crossing runway 6, going to Alpha for 35. So left, right, left, pretty much. Okay, that's it. Let's get out of here. And do we have a departure? We do not have a departure. We're going direct to ILM. So we're going to climb to our final cruise immediately, which is basically 32,000 feet. All right, here we go. I ain't as fast as Canuck, but I try. Okay, parking brake release, and let's go. And just to get a little bit of company, I'm going to go ahead and fire up the traffic injector for 2024. Start it. And we're moving. Now we should be fine. We'll see whether or not we get any traffic on the way down to Jacksonville. I should be fully online right now, so there shouldn't be a problem. So taxi light is on. We're going to be crossing next at runway 6 at Alpha. Once we climb and get set up, I will kick on the turbo boost, and then we will make sure the course heading for Jacksonville is set, and we will let the VNav and autopilot do its thing. The actual taxi surface to runway 35 is really, really short, so once I cross the runway, I'm probably going to get all the lights turned on. Self-roast. Okay. Strobe lights are already on. Warming up the brakes a bit. Right, ring-a-ding-ding. Flight attendant seats for departure. Thank you. Give a little bit of extra gusto. Come on. We are quite chunky for departure. I mean, we've got, you know, max passenger count, and we've got cargo and fuel, so it stands to reason there's going to be some hesitation in the takeoff performance. So we're crossing. I'm going to go ahead and leave my takeoff lights on at this point. Oh yeah, of course. 1, 2, and 5. Laps for takeoff. Okay, and again, Gen's on. Gen 1 TR1. We'll do a quick check before rollout and get going. Welcome aboard, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy to have you aboard. We're doing a very fast flight over to Jacksonville, and hopefully we'll be able to get this wrapped before I have to get out of here. Which, again, is why I'm no shame in turbo boosting the flight when we are established and en route to our cruise altitude. So, once we get to cruise and once we start descending, I think we should be fine. So, one quick check before we get out of here. Let's see, what am I missing? The clock's already running. I think we should be fine. I will set my engine start switches to continuous. And that should be everything that we need. We have the flap set for departure. The only thing I'm missing is the auto brake set to RTO, which is now set. And that's it. No one coming or going. Let's hit the go juice and get on out of here. The only thing I haven't set is the baromins for the arrival at Jacksonville, which we will set once we get started on the climb. And here we go. We're stable already. Let's go ahead and give it the beans. Alright, we're in the pocket. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots. Rolling up on V1. And V1 and rotate. And we are very much eager and roaring to go. Cha-ching! Making the company money. Positive rate, gear up. Let's go to flaps 2. Little bit of manual pilotage. Right, syncing up with that curved turn, and we are on our way out of Wilmington. Looks like we beat a good chunk of the storm out of here, which is great. And we'll go flaps 1 and flaps clean. And Command A. Okay, taxi lights off. Clean that up. We'll keep the landing lights on until 10,000. And how we doing? We rocketed out of there. Good gravy. All right, we are now direct Charlie Romeo Echo. Got about 47 nautical miles. Let's finish cleaning up. I'm thinking ahead. I'm probably going to set my auto brakes to 3 for Jacksonville. And now that we are airborne, I'm going to set my course heading 257 so I don't forget it. And once we cross 10,000 and turn the landing lights off, switch the nav radios over to the frequency for Jacksonville, and we will continue on our way. Thanks again to everybody that turned out for today's flight. We are flying from Wilmington, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida. I am going to be using a little bit of time acceleration just to make sure that I make today's connection with my IRL activities. As long as I get done at like quarter after, I should be good. Fair warning, is going to be pretty much a a taxi to the gate and bye, but I'm having fun. So 10,000, lights off. Let's see, engine start switches to off, and I should turn my wing lights off once I cross 10,000 because I'm a sim pilot like that. Electronic devices are now available. We'll leave the seatbelt signs to auto. And how we doing for pressure? I think we're doing pretty good for pressure. Pressure is auto. Cruise altitude is set. Landing altitude is plus or minus 25. We're good. So that's it. What am I missing? Oh, right. Setting the nav radios. So flipping the navs. Let me take a quick peek at the chart again. 110.3 at 257. So that's it, and we are way on our way out of Wilmington. That first turn off of 3.5 was where we flew over the VOR, or adjacent to the VOR, and now we're on our way to Charlie Romeo Echo. Okay, so computer's handling the accelerated departure, and I think we're good. There we are. Okay, friends. We have flaps up, gear up, auto throttles armed, and current heading is 242. Let's go ahead and sync this up. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 2x time acceleration to get us to cruise, and then we should have a little bit of time to catch our breath before the next phase of the flight. Unless, of course, I don't have it turned on, in which case we could have an issue. Well, I don't want to turn off my auto throttle, that's for sure. Okay, so let me see. I clearly missed something with regards to flight controls. So let me check something. Was it Control 3? Well, no, the keyboard's working now, so that's fine. Let me just make sure that my settings for time acceleration are actually available. So let's search time. Toggle screen narrator. Oh, wait, these are these whatchamacallit, what was it? Don't we have time acceleration anymore? I guess not. Oh, wait, hold on. Sim rate. There we go. Oh, okay, so it's control and shift. Got it. There we go. Got it. We're good. Control, shift. There we go. Now we're 2x. Good. 18,000 barrows to standard, and what I forgot, I just remembered, I want to set my barrow mans for Jacksonville. So that would be 227 feet. Not radio mans, barrow. And there we go. Confirmed. So we are good to go. All right, so we're past flight level 200. We're going up to 320 for today's flight. Let me zoom the map out a bit and make sure that we are good. Okay, so top of climb is just after 40 nautical miles. Top of descent is after just before 160. So given the accelerated timeline, I think we're looking at like a 10 to 15 minute cruise accelerated, which I'm going to try to avoid doing unless it's going to become abundantly clear that we're running out of time. But good afternoon, everybody. Welcome aboard. We are dealing with a little bit of weather avoidance. Fortunately, we are fairly removed from that situation, and hopefully won't be affected by the weather as we fly out to Jacksonville this afternoon. Hopefully everybody's having a good weekend and a good chance to rest and relax. This week has been action-packed, to say the least. I'll give you the high points. I came into this week literally on fumes. Mrs. DIGI and I were handling some situations that crept up the week prior, and spoiler alert, the situations, by the grace of God, have been handled. I am very grateful for our support system and Yahweh Elohim's blessing on our lives. We were able to get some very much necessary support to handle some things that came up. And as we started going through the week, the assignments that I was working on at work were also kind of lining up and being handled, and also having me handle them. So as we basically flew out into the remainder of the week, say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was staying on top of my particular assignments or my concerns, and with the odd task in between here and there, we were able to actually sort things out, smooth things over, and then basically get to a nice place on Friday. So, Mrs. DIGI got a chance to take care of herself. I got a chance to take care of myself, and grateful that I'm going to be able to spend some time with the family tonight and just, catch my breath. Yeah, man, amen. Glory to God, because it's nice to be able to slow down a bit. Even to the point where Miss DIGI was like, hey, do you want to pick up some things? Like, are there things that you've been meaning to work on that you forgot about? And then I thought to myself, oh yeah, there were a few things. We're back to normal time. I just got to cruising altitude now. Regarding the interview, I am still waiting for word on what's going to happen. Basically, if you guys don't know, I interviewed for a role last Friday, not this one, but the one from the last week. And then basically what happened was um, they said, hey, we're going to get back to you in such and such a time, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, cool. So, and I waited and waited and waited and no answer. I pinged the recruiter and said, hey, by the way, let me just double check something real fast. I don't know if my uh, settings are set for online yet. Traffic type off, real-time online, multiplayer, because apparently the FSLTL plugin, even for 2024, is a bit borked. I do have multiplayer on if you guys want to come and give me military escort. I should be on East USA. But um, I was waiting for an answer. I didn't get any answer, so I pinged the staffing agency. They called me back late this week and said, hey, we're still waiting. So I was like, well, not the best answer, but it's better than a flat no. So I'm still waiting to see what the answer to all that stuff is. Do we have any issues up here? No, we don't have center pumps. We don't have center fuel, and I don't think we have an issue with our systems above. Just a quick sweep. Yeah, Gen 1, TR1, yaw damper, blah 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 blah. We're running on gens. No, I think we're okay. Yeah, cruise, bleed, packs, all this stuff. Yep, excellent. So yeah, like I said, okay, it's not the answer that I want, but it's the answer that I'm going to take. Yeah, command A is engaged. It's the answer that I'm going to take, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, it could go any number of ways. They could reconvene on Monday and say, hey, thanks but no thanks. We're going to go with somebody else, which I've heard of once or twice before. In fact, earlier this year, I had another interview with a local company, and that was the answer. They said they went with somebody else that had a bit more experience than I did. And I was like, hey, you chose the answer that suited your company best. I have no ill will. Congrats. All the same, the company was local. It would have been interesting to be on a more hybrid work schedule, but at the same time, it is what it is. No live traffic data? That's a little bit weird. Whatever. But, I'm not going to stress it. We're good. I mean, I'm not in an ideal situation right now, but like I said before, I was able to get some much needed financial support, which means I have a little bit of breathing room, which means I have the ability for the moment to be just a touch pickier than, what I might have been had I, for example, chosen not to and just jump to the first thing that came to me. So Fuzzy, you understand the situation that I'm in just as much as I do. Like, you kind of have that reminder in the back of your mind, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I think I want to move faster, but at the same time, it's like, well, what if you didn't have to? What if you didn't have to freak out about, all that stuff? What if our Heavenly Father actually had our best interests in mind in the situation well in hand? And we didn't have to do stuff like, take matters into our own hands, or, say, well, you don't understand my situation, so that's why I drink when I get nervous, or you don't understand my situation, that's why I go and speed in my car. It's it's like justifying the situation that you're in. And even as followers of Christ, we can get into these patterns, these habits, where it's like, no, that's not where we want. That's not where I should be, and I know that's not where I should be. So it's like, don't try to justify that particular situation. Understand the act of being in a spot where you are being refined sucks. But the refiner's fire, like refining silver, it's one of the worst things for the silver being refined because it's like literally over an open flame. But if I understand correctly, the moment the silver is finished being refined, when all the impurities are burned off, it immediately gets yoinked from the open flame, from whatever white hot flame or burner it's on. So, on top of the fact, in order for you to know when it's done being refined, if you're doing it the old-fashioned way, you are literally keeping your eye on the silver. So, if his eye is on me, and in the middle of the situation, he's like, wait, 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 wait. And then one day it comes, it's like, you're out. Like, you are refined. You're tested. You're just brought into a different space. And his ways are perfect, and his ways are painful. But his ways are also far above mine. I don't know what to say other than that's just how it is. Like, my faith in God through Jesus Christ as a follower of Christ means no, I still sin. Yes, I still get quite upset about certain situations in life. But although the righteous man falls 7 times, he gets back up again. But the wicked are brought down when calamity strikes. So it's like, no, I know that my Redeemer lives. And he loves me too much to leave me where I am and not make me more refined and better as an individual. That's me. Now, by the way, chat, I want you to know this. I want everybody listening to the sound of my voice to come to a personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ. I do not want to force my beliefs on you. I very much believe every human being should be able to decide for themselves what they want to believe. Now, I'll be plain. What I believe in is the truth. But at the same time, if I just shout it at you, yell it at you, just force the issue, you're going to do whatever it takes to get away from me. And I mean, that might be what it takes to get through to you, but at the same time, I want you to understand, I welcome you here. It's a privilege to have you, regardless of who you are, where you come from, what you believe. I want you to know Jesus is Lord, but I also appreciate simply having you here to spend time with you and share my flights with you. So thank you for being here. If you want to learn more about what people like Fuzzy Pickles and I believe as born-again Christians, you can go to the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association online. You can even start by doing something as simple as praying to God and saying, God, I want to believe in you. I don't know how. Give me the wisdom to just understand, like why these people talk about you and why you're real. And it's my belief from the bottom of my heart that he will make himself known to you through his Bible, through people like me, and through Fuzzy Pickles and other streamers on Twitch that are Christ followers, as well as other people that are out there in the world. So again, by all means, happy to have you here. Thank you for showing up today. I appreciate you, and thank you for spending your time with me on stream. Now, for fear of not being able to make it to Jacksonville in time, I did accelerate my time. We are going to be hitting top of drop very shortly, and if I take a look at range, we've literally got about 120 nautical miles to run. So what I'm going to be doing is, once we're set up for the configuration for descent, I'm going to accelerate time for like another 5 minutes or so, and that should give us plenty of time to get lined up with Jacksonville runway 26. Now, let me double check the weather real fast. The weather in Jacksonville, the last time that the nav charts data pulled it up, winds variable at 4, clouds scattered at 5,000. Temperatures 3.5. and the altimeter is 3002. So let's get the altimeter set, and now we're good. We are coming up on top of drop very, 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 very shortly. And once we hit TOD, you're going to see this happen. You're going to see something here, and then we're going to start descending. The reason why you might see that happen automatically is because we have the final approach altitude for the glide slope set. So if I double check my range, we're right inside the decision cone, if you will, and we should begin descending very, very shortly. Matter of fact, let's get seatbelt signs back on. And there we go. Just about to path. There we go, right there. RNP, and we should begin engaging very shortly. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. I spent some time talking with some folks on my friend Connect stream last night, and I want to have fun with electronics again, and some of the discretionary spend that I got allowed me to pick up this really interesting little rotary display. Now, if you've worn a smartwatch at all over the past, I don't know, 5-10 years, probably over the past 5 years, because I think smartwatches are still relatively young. Some of the smartwatches you wear might actually have rotating external rings. I forget what those things are called. Bezels? But basically, you can twist the outside edges and, get different menus to appear and stuff like that. I picked up a ESP32 machine that was integrated into a display and an LED. So even though it's not set to be on your desk, it doesn't have like the rubber feet or the kind of base that it should have. The display is nice. It can get really bright, and I figured out how to communicate with it last night by using this thing called Arduino IDE. It's I think it is a development environment through which you can integrate user interfaces and logic to make your devices do certain things. Now, if you've heard of words like Arduino and Raspberry Pi and hardware and microcontrollers, then you already know what ESP32 is. If you don't, basically it's a tiny computer that is like single purpose. So I'm learning about technology. I've messed around with technology, and you guys have heard me talk about this both on my Discord and even sometimes on stream. I created little tiny things using whiteboards where I hook up buttons to microcontrollers so that my sim can do things like activate certain features or tweak certain things like the heading bugs on the MCPs of the aircraft that I like to fly. So I've done that before. And with this tiny little 1.28 inch rotary display, I might even keep this on my desk so that I can tweak either the heading or the altitude or the course without having to look at the screen. Now, I did create something like that a little while ago. I didn't have the displays on my breadboard, but I did have the rotary encoders so that I could actually tweak the headings. Now, I was using an Arduino at the time. I could probably bring that back out and use it again so that I could actually get it to work the way I wanted to. I might investigate that. But given the events of the past few months and given what's going on, in terms of me getting set up, hopefully getting Mrs. Digi back to a place where she can start walking and doing more stuff, I'm taking it one moment at a time. Regardless to say, I have this, occupational, just attention focused thing where I want to go in so many different directions, especially if you've seen my chats on my Discord. You know all the things that I'm trying to do. But I think an important part of what I'm doing right now is understanding, hey, it's important to have fun. So we're here and we are doing our best to have fun. Now we are descending, and I think we're descending a little bit slower than we should be. Actually, no, we were descending slower because we needed to decrease our velocity. I am going 2x on time because I want to get to Jacksonville. And okay, if it wasn't going to accelerate to, like, you know, above 1,000 feet per minute on the descent, I was going to go 4x, but I think we should be okay. I figure we'll get to Jacksonville in the next, like, 10, 15 minutes real time, which is good because once I'm done, once I arrive, I'll bid you guys a great farewell. I'll probably go raid one of my friends, say hi and bye, get dressed, and go do the family thing. But again, thank you so much to everybody that stopped by today and hung out with us as we've flown on stream in the 738. It's a great looking bird, and I'll take a pic even because I like screenshots. It's a looker. Oh yeah, speaking of which, the Airbus A220 by Synaptic Simulations is almost upon us. I'm so looking forward to getting it. If it was released today, I would have already plunked down the money to get it, and potentially even tried flying it on stream. But I'm also kind of glad I didn't actually decide to try flying it on stream today. Number one, I'm not a pre-release candidate for testing. I also, I also can't get it because it's literally not available for purchase yet. But I suspect it will probably take another week or at least a few days for the AnyBuilds store to offer the A220. Once they do, you know your boy is going to purchase it. My funds are dedicated to that purpose, and we are below flight level 180, so now we are local pressure. And now the cabin crew is going to get ready for our arrival. Is there anything that we need to do up here other than what I've done? I do not think so. I think we're set. Now, before I forget, I could probably get my engine ignition set to continuous for both engines, and I think we're set. Let's double check the arrival. We are not that far away from the airport. Actually, we've got another, I'm going to say like 30 nautical miles before we actually get to the ILS. So give me like 3 minutes and we'll be lined up. Also, again, everybody that's been hanging out, that's part of the DIGI fam, I will try to do a bit more dev this week. Maybe even sneak in some quiet flights if I'm at it. I've just been, again, getting myself lined up, trying to do so much to get her to get Mrs. DIGI to a better place in terms of getting her to a place where she can heal up and focus on what she had to do. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, we were really struggling to both get there, but grateful for the Lord's provision. God bless all of you, and I am, again, privileged to be able to share time with you guys. Once we get lined up on ILS, if I haven't shut off 2x by then, I will shut it off, because obviously hitting at twice the speed or twice the rate of time is going to be problematic, but it would be potentially funny. Okay, any problems with weather? We were flying past a little bit of rain on the way in, just north of Jacksonville. I don't see any systems in front of us or on the way to the actual runway approach. So, 3002 is the QNH for the airport, and current heading is 197. Actually, let's set the heading for the course heading, which is going to be 257. And again, we're going to be altitude 1600. We are, you know what we need to do? We need to get our approach ref set. So let's do flaps 40. Actually, let's do flaps 30, because I don't care about flaps 40 speed, because it's almost inconsequential. We are way too fast, but let me think. What's the max speed for gear deployment on an aircraft like this, you think? 250, 240, 230? Let's get the boards out and start slowing the plane down. And then once we get to the 200s, I'm probably going to go ahead and go out of 2x mode, reset the speed brake for it being armed, and then we're going to go ahead and deploy the gear or start going through our flaps. So, give me a bit. Regular time. We are armed. Speed brakes are armed. All right, let's grab the controls and start getting ourselves set. Give me flaps 1. And let's go gear down just so we can start going through the speed reduction much faster than usual. All right, here we go, regular time. Nathan, if you're here, get your judgments ready. Let's go flaps 2. Speed brakes are armed, they're not deployed. And where are we? We're not that far away from the airport, so we should be able to pick it out. I think it's just beyond the center column. Pretty sure. Again, thanks to everybody that stopped in today and hung out. Had a great time catching up with all of y'all and having a good time. Okay, so let's go flaps 5 and flaps 10. And now we're going to go flaps 15. Flaps 25. All right, there's our airport off to our 1 o'clock. And let's go ahead and hit the approach button now. Approach is armed, LNAV, VOR, LOC. And let's hit flaps 30.
2500.
Flaps 30, we're going to be turning the final very shortly, and we are fully configured. Airspeed floor is around 118 knots. We should be fine. Okay. Runways in sight. We've got, we're below glide slope, but we're going to be coming into the beam very shortly. Apologies for the lack of traffic today, but worked out for us. We got the airport to ourselves. How about that? I did have some issues with the online checks for FS 2020. I didn't think I would have issues with the online checks for FS 2024. I might have checked my Xbox game app. You know, the thing that gets installed in your computer because you use it from the Microsoft Store. I'm not flying on an Xbox. I'm flying on a computer, but still, it was an MS purchase, so I don't know if they've had online issues lately. I'm not worried about it. I think, you know, in the worst case, I can always fly on VATSIM, and basically VATSIM will basically give me the traffic that I want. Okay, almost to the drop-in point, should be. Because Dalton is 1600. Greater Jacksonville off to our left with photogrammetry loading in. And there we go. There's our descent. Once we clear 1,600 feet, I'm going to go ahead and arm 4,000 for our go-around altitude. And 152. Is 152 our approach ref? It needs to be, I think, 145. Okay, we're not descending that fast, so we should be able to scrub off some speed. And we are past 1,600. Let's arm 4,000 for the go-around. 4,000 armed. I like to have this view enabled so that I can basically disengage autopilot, like my offset view. One thousand stable, Mr. Bush altitude set. Fully configured, speed brakes armed, gears down. Engine start switches are continuous. Speed brakes armed, landing gears down. Cabin crew is notified. And if they weren't, they are now. We'll disengage around 500 feet. By aircraft.
400. 300.
We are very blustery. Continue.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Light slow.
Reverse green, or reverse green now. First is normal. Okay, reversers are off. Let's go ahead and disable the auto brake. Welcome down. Probably about minus 210, 215 for the landing rate. Laps are coming up. Get the APU started. And a little bit beyond the desired exit point, but we made it. Welcome down, everybody. Welcome to Jacksonville. Let's go ahead and taxi over to the gate and call it a stream. Okay, so, oh wow, we straight did the thing. Wonderful. Okay, we are on Juliet. I was thinking we're gonna have to taxi for a little while to get back to hotel, but it is what it is. And gonna be going to the hold area. We're fine. That's fine. I had a little bit of disagreement with the throttle switches. Hey, on top of the fact that we landed pretty much during the middle of the day, but didn't turn on any landing lights whatsoever, we're fine. Taxi lights are on now, and the APU should be available. It is now, and we can go APU gen, battery on the bus. Let's turn left here, park up. It was a good time. And the plane is still in one piece. We like that. Thank you, Fuzzy. Okay, so we made it to Jacksonville. About an hour and 10-ish minutes for the block time overall. I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and park up at one of these forward-facing gates over here, start the deboarding process, and make our farewells. I don't have a replay system available, so we won't actually be able to see that. But at the same time, I'm happy that we made it in safe. So we do have our parking spot here. I will commence deboarding once we actually have everything taken care of. And I think that should be good. Alright, right about here. Parking brake should be set. It is now. And let's go ahead and park this aircraft. So, dual bleed. engines are good. So about maybe 10 to 12 minutes ahead of schedule. And let's go ahead and start the deboarding process.
The boarding requested.
Here comes the jetway, and I'm going to go ahead and request ground power unit. GPU is available. GPU can come on. We are ground power standby, which now means I can scrub the APU. Put up the isolation valve. And that'll do it. Anti-collision light off, position light off, logo light off, and turn off the engine start switches.
Goodbye.
Passengers deboarding starting.
That's it. We are good. Turn off the yaw damper and turn off the probe heats and the window heats. And that's it. Alright, let's let this plane breathe for a little while
Good afternoon.
as we wrap up. So, welcome to Jacksonville International Airport. We took about an hour, actually about 56 minutes to get from Wilmington to Jacksonville. It was a pretty quick flight. Very pleased with that performance. And we are parked, I think, at probably gate Alpha 12. I used to do a lot of flights to Jacksonville in FSX, and when I had it in P3D as well. I debated reinstalling P3D today, but stopped when I thought to myself, yeah, it's going to take a little while to actually, get done. And now we have our passengers disembarking, which is really nice to see. I think at some point I'm going to start being so lazy and start looking for GSX profiles so that I can actually get more realistic boarding and deboarding, especially at payware airports. Today, though, I'm just happy that I got the flight done and that I made it. We landed, like hot afternoon sun. So other than demerits for not having the appropriate landing stuff set up, we got here safely, quickly, and had a great time doing it. So, does this airport have an interior? I forget. Let me check real fast. Alright, excuse me, friends. Actually, yeah, pretty... Oh, no, actually, just the interior, kind of like... I forget what project this might have been from, but I'm not going to complain. It is a freeware airport, so I'll take it and be happy with it. I've never flown into Jacksonville in real life. I think I'd like to at some point, someday, but it's definitely easy on the numbers for my computer. Performance is great. So if you have a computer that's newer than 2021 and has anything better than a 30 series NVIDIA card, you should probably have zero problems with the scenery, and in general, probably any payware scenery you get for Jacksonville. With that said, we are on the ground at KJAX. Want to take time to thank my friends that stopped by and said hello. Nathan's Plains, Fuzzy Pickles, everybody else that showed up, including Horse Soda as well. Thank you for being here. Thanks for lurking. Thanks for being a part of the experience today. I'm going to wrap up, start getting ready, but we're not done yet. We're going to go say hi to my friend Eric Flight. Eric is doing a charity flight right now. I think he's on multiplayer charity and on VATSIM. So he is doing a flight to raise money for children's cancer awareness. And I'm going to go ahead and pay him a visit with all the folks that I have here. So, folks, like I like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you do want the Prince of Peace, and that's Jesus Christ. Thank you for being here. Please stick around for the raid. We're going to go say hi to Eric Flight real fast. Wrap up. I'm going to get ready for the rest of the evening. I wish you all an extremely great rest of your evening and weekend if I don't talk to you tomorrow. And until next time, I will see you. Bye.